Thank you for taking the time to watch the third and final video of the D600 versus the 610 oil spots. My name is Al Kessenholz. I'm from zealimages.net. If you want to reach out to me, there's a contact information on my website. And some people have reached out in the past, and it was great to hear from other people that were dealing with the 600 and 610 issues with Nikon. I'm going to pretty much talk about my experiences of sending the camera back twice for repair. The first time was for the heavy oil spots. The second time I received the camera back from the service center in Melville, New York, and there was basically dust embedded in the sensor. I couldn't blow it out. It wasn't kind of surface dust. I guess because maybe there might even be an AI filter. It could have been maybe in between the sensor and the AI. I don't know, but it wasn't able to get blown off. And then in using the camera from the first time it was sent back with the new updated shutter mechanism, the mirror got locked up while shooting a sporting event and rendered the camera unusable until I kind of figured out what was going on. The backstory with Nikon and everything that kind of I went through, I hope you don't go through. I hope that your experience is pleasurable and they do the right thing. The people that I've talked to, they all had a good experience sending the cameras back. Personal photographers I know, I'm talking from experience of having a relationship with other photographers, so they sent the camera back once, they put a new shutter mechanism in it, never had a problem again, either oil, dust spots, or lockup. It just seems that I particularly had some bad luck with the product. This is the first time I sent the camera in on 10/29 in October. What they did was they replaced the shutter mechanism and some sponges. Then after using the camera, or actually after receiving the camera right out of the box, I noticed dust spots when sample shots were issued. I had scheduled work plans, so I continued with the scheduled work, powered through the dust spots in post-edit, and then I had the mirror lock up on me while I was shooting the camera. It came up as an error code, and I'll show you that image in a second, but this is the second repair they made. They did a general check on it, and they weren't able to find out or duplicate the problem of the mirror locking up. I guess it just happened to me one time in the field, and some other people reported that they've had mirror lockups as well on the internet. All right, on 11/10 of 2013, this is a cell phone picture, so the quality isn't that good, but this is an image of that error code. I've had error codes in the past on digital equipment. Usually the ERR is related to a miscommunication with the lens to the body. And at the time I was shooting a cheerleading competition. I didn't know it was a problem with my mirror. I kind of looked through the viewfinder. Half was illuminated, half was very dark. So it was kind of like half light inside the viewfinder. I was able to grab a backup body. You know, obviously when you do a job, you're going to have backup gear, and was able to put a different body to work. And then through fumbling around with it and taking the lens off, I saw that the mirror wasn't either in the full up or down position, it was kind of in the mid position. So a way around this in the field, if this happens to you, if you're shooting a wedding, again, error code, immediately, don't panic, go to the mirror lockup button. It's on the left hand side of the camera, as if you're going to be doing long exposure, and roll that dial all the way to MU, I think, for mirror up, or mirror, you know, and execute the shutter button, and it's going to lock the mirror up and then bring it back down. And when I did that one time, the error code went away. So naturally I shipped it back to Nikon, and they weren't able to duplicate that mistake. But you know what, while it was in there, they had the dust problems I had from the second time. I'm taking really a backstage approach to my opinions with Nikon. Really, as human beings, we have to recognize logic, and logic really is simply pattern recognition. What works, what doesn't work, what's going on, cause and effect. So it's basically pattern recognition will lead to logic, and it will lead to, I guess, illumination if you were to decipher, you know, what's right, what works, what doesn't work, right from wrong. Going back, you know, Nikon had a statement out about the oil issues. Actually, I couldn't find the original statement, so I went back to my YouTube video that I had. Let me pull that up. So I actually had to go back to part 2 video that I did to find the statement here. And let me go to full screen here. They, say users have some D600 users, they use the word some, appearance of random spots attributed to the natural accumulation may occur over time. Steps may be taken to reduce the occurrence and such. So this was the original statement that was published of 2/20 of 2013. So I want to take you back to a time where all us full frame users are waiting for the next big thing. We're all shooting D700s, D3s. We're getting our socks blown off by us with 5D Mark II shooters shooting at 20 megapixels. We're stuck at 12 megapixels. The D600 comes out. Everybody jumps on them. I wanted to jump on it myself, but they seem to have oil spot issues. So I went with the refurbished route to try to have the refurbished ones hopefully have the problem corrected. Refurbished ones have them. It seems that the evidence is that there's no D600 user out there that does not have oil related issues. And you could do the research on the internet. It's a big, 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 big problem. Okay. But Nikon, in their infinite wisdom, has taken the path of suppressing the D600 issues. Okay. And have made this official statement. If you took that HTML that was up there, you'd be hard pressed to find this statement again, okay? Because when I enter in all that HTML information, I got this error. So it looks like Nikon's backtracking and taking down different things that may have gave them bad press going forward and trying to suppress the D600 problem, okay? So this is all part of pattern recognition. Why, if there was no problem, why is those statements being removed? Why are we not going into a positive solution? Well, the big thing now is, and I brought it up in one of my videos, was a, class action lawsuit warranted? And it's all over Nikon Rumors. If you want to check it out, they had a law firm here. Here's one of them. There's multiple ones out there that was taking information in reference to some dust issues, okay, some oil spot issues. That came in February 19th. After that was made public, okay, Nikon Rumors and other websites blogged about it. Nikon may be facing class action lawsuit for D600 camera issues. Just days after this, because I was part of watching this from the sidelines. Mind you, I got my camera back, had to send it back twice. I got it returned back to me in December. I was able to finish my December orders and my December obligations with scheduling. I'm here on the sidelines. I never made video number 3 yet. Days after class action lawsuit, Nikon changes their story. They completely changed their story now. As told by Nikon Rumors, this is the Nikon Rumors website right now. Okay. And this is February 25th. So I think February 19th we said was the class action lawsuit. And then February 25th now, Nikon Rumors is reporting that a new technical service advisory was issued, announced a free cleaning, a free shutter replacement for all D600 owners, even with those with expired warranties. All right, you can send your camera in even if you do not have a problem. So even if you're concerned about it now, we'll take a look at your camera, bring it back to us. You really never had a problem. You never had a problem. It's the random accumulation, some 600s, but even if you don't have a problem, you can send it back to us now. So here's the new statement here from Nikon, March 28th, technical service advisory for users of the Nikon D600. All right. So now, if you have a D600, send it back. Free of charge, as well as the cost of shipping and the return to the customers. So dealing with customer service and going through the Nikon process, I'm not going to lie. You're getting people that are answering the phones, and all they are just phone answerers. Okay. And, you're going to have to deal. There's like 3 different levels. Then you get through them, you talk to their supervisors, then you say, hey, can I talk to a D600 specialist? And then you go up to like 3 different tiers. Finally, because of, I guess, the YouTube videos that I made and voicing my opinion and just, not accepting the mundane, somebody from Mayville, New York, the corporate, called me, and they were from consumer, consumer affairs, or their job is to appease the consumers. So I told her my story. You could, all the lip service, head nodding, yeah, we understand. Never admitting to anything, but I never really got anywhere with them. It was just okay, yeah. I was like, well, I'm sending my camera back twice. I need some sort of replacement. They never offered to do a replacement body. They mentioned doing NPS, Nikon Pro services, but it's too late. It's like my camera was there. I had to be sent back twice. Just take care of it. So from the outside looking in, from being, one of the original people with the oil spot issues, sending it back, patterns and pattern recognition, it's just very dishonorable. I think Nikon Japan, you've dishonored the loyal customers. Okay? It's a disloyalty. It's an insult. There's always has been a problem, but yet you never want to address the problem until it became a legal issue or a possibility of a legal Pandora epidemic. Now you're accepting and changing your tune. So on that basis, my loyalty has been has been shaken, has been questioned, has been damaged, has been, I'm only going to use you as you use me. I'm going to use you for a purpose, and that is to get the images that I'm looking for, and that's it. So I've going on a tangent here, but I'm downsizing all my gear. Everything that I've collected through the years, film, everything. I don't really see a real reason to keep anything that's not going to be fully used. So if I don't use it, it's gone. My extra bodies are gone, glass are gone. I'm only going to keep what I need. Some AF primes, 24 to 70, 70 to 200, your 300 f4, and that's it. I'm actually going to be using a lot of third-party Codex Mitro flashes. I mean, it just doesn't pay right now to be fully engrossed with one product or one manufacturer. Kind of on the fence now. I've been really watching Fuji. You've heard me in my other videos. I'm kind of torn between a Canon 70D with the APS-C and the advanced autofocus system, Fuji or Sony. Fuji, Sony, or Canon. If you're listening, I'm on the fence, so I'm impressionable. So if you want to reach out to me, contact me, that would be great. I'd like to demo some of your products behind a wakeboard boat and some high impact action photography. That's really where I want to see where another manufacturer would perform. I really stuck with Nikon for the autofocus system, but I don't use 51 autofocus points and I don't use 39 autofocus points. I only use one. Even in high action, high impact situation, I'm only have one bead, and it's my job as a photographer to keep that red bead on you. If I don't put it on center body mass, then I'm the one that's not taking a good picture. So I don't even use all the advanced 3D focusing and the tracking systems. So what brings me to the X Pro 1 or the Fuji line is another Nikon photographer has been shooting successfully with the X100S. That's the Fuji camera with the fixed 35mm lens. It has the APS-C size sensor in it, and it also has a leaf shutter in it. He's been finding that his image quality is just like the D600, even though he's shooting on the APS-C size sensor, and the leaf shutter has been able to give him some enormous, quiet, intimate, religious venue shooting, whether it's in a church or a synagogue. It's been giving him some really the advantage of being the quiet photographer. And he says the way that camera captures light is phenomenal. Strictly ambient light. He will not use a flash on the camera. The ability for it to interpret and shoot into the sun is just amazing. He doesn't really even need a fill flash. The camera just somehow makes it happen. It's like using Photoshop out of the camera. So he's now shooting a lot more of a JPEG style and not really having to spend time in post edits and delivering. Now the XS1, I was able to demo that camera as well, and I loved it. I was going to buy that as a bridge camera not crazy about the small sensor size. To me, going forward, it has to be APS-C size minimum. So the Micro Four Thirds are out of the question. The Olympuses are out of the question. I have been entertaining the Sonys, the Alphas, but I don't know where Sony's going. I like their white balance. I love everything about it, but I just haven't been sold on their decision in the marketplace to a specific, lens mount and style. So, Fuji, if you're listening, I'm really interested. I like how you guys interpret color, and would like to see it work as another option. If you are on the fence and you're wanting to buy a digital camera, if somebody came to me and asked my opinion of, okay, look, I want to be a photographer, I want to get into photography, what camera do you recommend? I would probably steer them towards the Canon 70D for a few different reasons. It's not a Nikon or Canon thing. Yeah, it is. I am pretty pissed off at Nikon. But with that aside, I think that the Canon 70D will offer you two things. One is a great camera for photography in general. Two, it's a really good video camera. So you can make money as a photographer and as an inexperienced videographer, because most photographers want to be photographers, right? They don't want to do pictures in motion. But you have to remember, as a photographer, you usually get the first lead on a wedding because they can afford the photographer. The videographer is, sometimes they can't afford the videographer, or they ask the photographer for a reference for a videographer. So if you're going into the photography business, try to claim both territories. Buy the D70 as a photography camera, and also use it as a videography camera, especially if you're inexperienced with focus pulling. The touchscreen back display would allow you to point to where you want to focus. And it's basically like having rack focus, where you could just go back and forth, subject one, subject two, and you could just rack back and forth. So it's really a no-brainer. It's Canon offers great JPEG images out of the camera JPEG. So if you are a press shooter or somebody who is, doing current events, you could actually, shoot video and digital images right from that camera, and basically you don't have to process the RAW. So I find myself at Nikon always shooting RAW most of the time, because a lot of times the colors are not where they should be, or the white balance shouldn't be where I want it to be. So I find myself always adding a second step in post editing. Now, I'm a long-term Nikon shooter because I'm invested in the lenses, so it's not easy for me to change camera systems. So if you are not tied into a camera system, the Canon 70D is the way to go. Plus, as you learn, you're going to learn very quickly that Canon has a lot more lens options compared to Nikon. Some weird lenses that make sense. And it's just, if I had to collect glass at this point, it would be Canon glass. So with that said, you probably think I'm all over the map. And I want to just say thank you for listening to my rambling. If you're ever inside the New Jersey Lake Hopatcong area, give me a call. We'll get you out there behind a wakeboard boat with your camera. And like I said, if any other manufacturer or vendor, B&H, Adorama, if anybody out there wants me to review any of the gear unbiased, like to put it through the paces behind a wakeboard boat, high impact, fast focusing, fast frame rate, I would really be interested in demoing some of the new Sony Alphas, mirrorless systems, the new Fuji X Pro series, and even if a Micro Third company wants to jump in, like Lumix. I was really going to buy a Lumix as well for the video capabilities, but I haven't been sold yet on the 4/3 sensor. So if Lumix, you're out there listening, hey, I'll give it a try. Reach out to me. Go to my website, zealimages.net. There's a contact button down there. Shoot me a little invite or an email, and we'd love to try out any gear you have. And thanks for all your opinions out there, everybody. And I think we fought the good fight with Nikon, and It's time to send your D600 home. Time to send it home and give it a new little shutter transplant, and you will have a new OF600. What I like to say, the OF600, the oil-free 600 by Nikon. Thanks, everybody.